Greetings, 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 and salutations. Guys, get in here. The fix is in. The fix is in. We don't have time. First and foremost, housekeeping rules. Welcome to the headmaster herself, Kay Ligg, your mod and who's in charge. Welcome to the Nerd Herd. You know what to do. Leave your shoes at the door. Grab a pair of fuzzy socks from the basket. Take a seat on the couch. Won't you stay a while? The fix is in, guys. The shenanigans have ensued. It's 10:40. We got one person in the room. It felt hackationy when I first came on, so I don't know. Greetings to everybody who's here. Shout out to my neurodivergents who are just Johnny on the spot with me. Thank you. I appreciate you. Shout out to the people luxuriating from the comfort of their couch. Shout out to those who are luxuriating from the comfort of their bed, wherever you may find yourself at this ridiculous hour of 10:41 p.m. If you exist in Chronos time. Shout out to everybody who's in. Shout out to the people in the nosebleeds and everybody who has joined us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate it. You know the housekeeping rules. Take your shoes off at that door. We don't walk inside the house with the shoes. Take your shoes off at the door. Grab a pair of fuzzy socks. Throw your feet up. Luxuriate, won't you? The fix is in. Y'all know how much I hate the term breaking news. Breaking news. The fix is in. AUSA, Assistant U.S. Attorney Moren Comey, not only the prosecutor for the Puffy trial that just ended, but the prosecutor for the Epstein trial and the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, has been fired. Has been fired, guys. Let's get to it. I'm disgusted because it's evident what's going on. And we did, as a matter of fact, let me look up and see when I did this, because you know your girl like to cite her sources. Let me go down this playlist. Back when people were like, oh, excuse me, that's not true. You're just saying that. And all these Trump people who had never visited my channel all gravitated across the internet and came to my channel to tell me that not only was I wrong, that I was a liar. A liar, they called me. But you know your girl don't play that. Because I, unlike other people, am not new to Trump. I don't know of Trump because of you're fired. But clearly he has gotten back to his you're fired days, because now Moren Comey, the prosecutor in the Puffy trial, if you were like, oh, that's a conspiracy, I don't believe in the deep state, you better wake up. If you never believed in the deep state, you better open your eyes now, because it is playing out right in your face. Not only is it playing out in your face, they are playing in your face. Hold on one second, guys. My apologies. I thought this phone was on. Give me 1 second, guys. You know, I totally hate to do this, but give me 1 second. Yes, if you never believe, let me do the roll call, because you know I have to shout out my Nerd Herd family. How are you, my loves? How are you? Oh, listen, baby, when I tell you I was in full grandma mode, I was up there, she playing with the dog, she having a jolly good time, we laughing, we went over her, you know, I wrote a book for my granddaughter, we went over that, she was giving me corrections, things that she wanted me to tweak. As you know, my girl is a 9-year-old author, honey. She wanted me to tweak some of these things. So no problem. I'll do that. We were going over the book. She was critiquing it. I love this, Grandma. Let's change this. Let's change. Overall, it was a win. So kudos for that. And, you know, she was just playing with the dog. And I just, This was the furthest thing from my mind. And then, and you guys know how I can't stand breaking news, but breaking news. The fix is in. Your boy Donald Trump done sunk to a new low. Now, I don't like to be right. I take no pleasure in being right about these things. But I told y'all about that. I was going to call him Orange Cheeto, but you know what? Every so often when I'm having a cheat day, I like a little, Cheetos. So I'm not going to disrespect Chester the cheetah like that. That raggedy. And might I say, shout out to these yet to be United States for the freedom of speech that allows me to drag him for filth like he deserves. Let me do a roll call real quick and then I will proceed to tell y'all. Shout out to the headmaster K-Lig, large and in charge, making it do what it do. Shout out to Sophia, Tushka, Yam J, Joy to the World, Patrice Walker, Cook's Crates, Sugar Spice, Sarah Sushi. I think I said Sophia, but I'll say it again just to make sure. Holly O, T Breezy, Right Sound Studio, Keisha, my girl Keisha, in the place to be. And all of you guys who are in the bushes and don't feel like chatting, but you're watching. Listen here. Anyone who thinks for 1 second that this firing of Assistant U.S. Attorney Moren Comey, the prosecutor who not only just recently finished trying the Puffy case, and listen, now we know this is Trump's hands, but I know how these things work, okay? The government doesn't like to be showed up. They don't like to be, they don't like to lose. They don't care how much you spend on your attorneys. They don't want to lose. They consider themselves to have the best and the brightest. And I have to say, I told them, I spoke to the feds twice, and I told them, don't let this case slip through their fingers. I warned them. I told them everything to look for. Did they listen to me? Little old, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I mean, I know outside of the fact that I be calling it and it be just like I called it. Outside of that obvious fact. You hear my dog barking in the background? Because he upstairs with my granddaughter and he like, this is a different organ. This is a different routine. Mommy's on live, but I'm upstairs and he's up there barking like a madman. The fix is in. Trump is being dragged by his MAGA loyalists, so much so. In fact, I was planning on going live today. My granddaughter even said, hey, Grandma, you going to go live? And she said, are you still going to go live or what? And I could hear in my grandma ear, what's up, Toinette? That she was basically saying, are you going to go live or are you going to hang out with me? And so I was like, why don't you host a live for me today? I said, if you had to host a live, what would you say? And she was like, oh, I would tell them, hey, guys, it's your girl, Kennedy, a.k.a. the Dopest Grandma Baby. Like, share, subscribe. She went through that whole routine. And she was like, I said, what would you tell them? She's like, I tell them how to make slime with their grandkids and their kids. We had that conversation. So I decided not to go. Today's conversation was going to be about the Trump and Epstein debacle. Breaking it down from A to Z. But I put that on ice. Listen here. The devil is a liar, okay? Trump's loyalists over this past weekend have finally realized that they got played. See, let me tell you something about being played. A lot of women have met their demise and are 6 feet under, 12 feet under, however many feet. It's slipping my mind right now is the menopause fog. They 6 feet under right now. Guess why? Because they realize, hey, Kayla said the gal them sugar. I just saw it. Thank you, girl. Anyway, I digress. So many people have a problem admitting when they are wrong or they've made a mistake or error in judgment or they stand corrected. Listen, there's no shame in saying, oh, you know what? I thought it was However, I stand corrected. Show contrition. If you've wronged people, if you've cussed out your family at Thanksgiving, if you and some of your cousins stopped speaking because you was on that Trump train, because you know how, listen, baby, it's like crack. I knew what that MAGA was. It was crack. The same way you watch everybody, the lady who used to be the hot stuff in your neighborhood, and all the guys wanted her, even your uncle and your daddy used to look at her. Hey there, how you doing, Susie? All of them used to look at her. And guess what? She fell off and became a crackhead. She started doing that little crackhead show. Hey, baby, how you doing? How your mama in there? Oh, I seen your dad down the street the other day. Let me hold $1. And they doing that little shimmy, that crack shimmy. That's what the MAGA people was doing. And even though I think quite a few of them realized that they made an error of judgment, their ego, their edging God out, would not let them pivot before it was too late. See, they refused to believe that, well, far be it from us to know something they don't know. Why would we be able to inform them of something they don't know? They didn't want to listen. We told them he about to tear it down. Listen, do I believe that we could come back and take this country back and rebuild it and make it what it is? It's going to take a lot of work. We have the status quo of America has been eviscerated. And here's what burns me to shreds. Some of y'all is too easy breezy going, girl, what y'all wearing for the cruise? Y'all want to go get a cabin for Thanksgiving? Y'all want to have matching pajamas so we can post it to the group? Some of y'all is too casual, you know. Do you not see the building is on fire? The building, the United States, if the United States was a building, it's on fire. It is a smoldering mess. Some of y'all is just going about, do you not understand how it will impact you? Do you not understand that when they raided, when he allowed Doge, when he allowed Elon Musk to pay to steal the election for him, and he put this man in office, all they were doing in Doge was data mining. All those agencies they closed, talking about they're going to shrink the size of government. Shrink the size of government don't mean what you think. I keep telling y'all, the words that the English language was created to cast spells. It's spell casting. So when they say shrink the government, what they mean is you're 100 steps closer to one world civilization. You're 100 steps closer to living in a post-apocalyptic kind of environment. You are 100 steps closer to a dictator who has no intention of leaving office. And some of y'all is like, what y'all want to do for Christmas? Who cooking the mac and cheese? Wake the fuck up. If you don't see what's happening here, remember, when Hillary Clinton was going to win the election, when Trump got in the first time, do you remember Hillary Clinton it was all but a shoo-in for Hillary Clinton. And then a few, weeks before the election, Trump made Comey, Maureen Comey's father, the former director of the FBI, come up with some, their servers missing from Clinton's, her servers are missing, and there's some questionable files and all this stuff. You don't remember when that debacle happened? And it swept everything out from under Hillary Clinton's feet. And next thing you know, who was in office? Friggin' ragamuffin Pumpkinhead was in office. Pumpkinhead ended up in office because of the director of the FBI, Comey. And then what did he do with Comey? He did that pulling him in when they were in the friggin' Oval Office. He did that thing where he pulled him in. He'll take your arm and shake it, and he'll pull you towards him because he wants to show power. And then Comey resigned right after that because he knew he had been played. See, some of y'all got to stop playing. Listen, some of y'all got to stop playing. Y'all let these people play in our faces, co-opt our words, change the narrative. They over here burning books, banning books. Do y'all watch The Handmaid's Tale? Did y'all ever see The Handmaid's Tale, the first season, how it began? Where all those ladies were going about their business at their office, at the park, at the mall, with their kids doing things. And then people started rushing them, just like you see these people rushing the quote unquote migrants because they are ICE or de facto ICE agents. Their faces obscured. They have on paramilitary garb, no writings, no agency writings. They're just snatching women off the street. Y'all ain't see that because all let us watch plenty things, but all let us pick and choose what you want to watch. I keep telling y'all, stop being entertained. There is a saying, bread and circus. They give y'all food and they give y'all sports things to focus on, and you lose your unreacquainted minds. You ain't paying attention to nothing. Oh, so easily distracted. Who's gonna win, the Jets or the Giants? The this one or that one? That are you insane? Don't you know all of those organized sports are a friggin' sham and a fix? The fix is in. The Bible said those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. And baby, can I tell you, all the alarm bells was bing boom, in my head when I saw this. Moren Comey, remember, the prosecutor who originally called out the indictments for Puffy was Damian Williams. And then soon as they started that whole DEI and all this slick talk, Damian Williams was like, y'all won't take away all these years I put in this working for the federal government. You won't come snatch my pension. He retired. And it left Moren Comey and the 6-pack of white chicks to come and prosecute this. DEI is very important. We do not live in mainly a white society. Believe the hype if you want to. It ain't been that in forever. It ain't been that in forever. Now, all of a sudden, Moren Comey, hey, Luna, how you doing, my love? Moren Comey gets fired based on Article 2. That's straight from Trump because his MAGA loyalist is dragging him for filth. Shout out to Archangel Michael coming in with the love offering. He said, thank you for the super chat, my love. He said, the devil is always at play, Sister Natanya. It will take a lot of work in every country. Evil is in power at the moment. Hillary can go to Area 51. She has clearance. Trump doesn't. Fact. Understandably so. Understandably so. But what is happening, the grift that's happening here is, remember everybody who, when I was having all these different shows and we were talking all the stuff, they kept coming into my chat. What about the kids? What about the kids? Because look at what's happening. If she is fired and they use this as leverage to not only vacate the sentence of Puffy, who if I'm not mistaken, Kash Patel or Dan Bongino posted a list and then it disappeared really quickly. Oh, crap. Hold on. Hold on. I was supposed to send something for somebody. You know, your girl I'll be so invested. And I really am. I'm super invested because it's not for play. It's real life. It's real life. Hold on 1 second. My bad, y'all. I was supposed to send somebody the link. A moment. I'm just very disgusted because we have got to stop acting like we don't see in plain time what's going on. We see what's going on. We see what's going on. And it's nasty work. It is absolute and utter nasty work. Hold on 1 second. And guys, while I'm doing this, be sure to like, share, subscribe. In fact, what the heck was that? I'm getting ready to put subscriber mode on. K-Leg, put subscriber mode on, please. I'm absolutely and unequivocally disgusted with what's happening here. And it's in front of everybody's face, and everybody's like, they are acting so passive. Like, when are we going to get as shook up as we should be for this type of stuff? This is no joke. Trump is using this as a diversion. This is the sleight of hand. This is the 52 fake out all over again. In fact, now I just want to point something out. Listen, I'm for upward mobility for everyone. You know, I'm just a lowly content creator and a woman of God. You know, my woman of God ranking is way higher than the content creator ranking, but I'm a content creator right here on the big Epstein. Excuse me, I was going to say the big Epstein, Freudian slip on the big, maybe not. Come through, Holy Spirit. On the big YouTube, the YouTube, I'm up here. Well, wouldn't you like to know that I can go straight from sitting here in my office in my house on these YouTube streets and go straight to the White House? Like Dan Bongino, the the deputy director of the FBI, he was a content creator. He was a content creator the other day. And now he's the director of the FBI. Another content creator, Kash Patel, is now your FBI director. Pam Bondi, who was a Fox host, if I'm not mistaken, is now the head of, Pam Bondi is the attorney general. Shout out to my girl, Keisha. Thank you for your love offer, my sister. I love you for all you do. Keep fighting, my sister, the good fight. Ashe-o. I certainly will. Ashe-o. Because, baby, but I need to pour some libations. Let me pour some libations. Let me pour some libations in here. We're going to start pouring libations, and I will teach you on another thing. Let's pour some libations. When you pour libations, you ashe, ashe, ashe-o. I'm going to teach y'all about pouring libations. African tradition. I'm going to teach you about it. You need to know. Pour libations over your family, your house. This situation need libations. It certainly does. Hey, Mocha B, how you doing, my baby? All my nieces in the house. How you doing, my loves? Let me take a swig of this. Listen here. We cannot be fooled and okey-doked into believing that this is just run-of-the-mill stuff. We can't. If you are so, we got ourselves into this stink because we're so whatever they say. Oh, them people say. Can you believe that we have a White House? Now, his first administration, they had a gazillion unfilled positions. Never. Now, listen, this country got a lot to be desired. A lot, okay? But never has any administration been had so many unfilled positions like Trump's his first administration. This administration, this sucker done snatched people off the hot dog cart at the corner, Fifth and whatever. You sell hot dogs? You want to work at the White House? Bam. Ain't nobody got no qualification. You talk about DEI? Well, that's DEI. You want to call educated people who are scholarly people that happen to be Black or other ethnicities or races, you want to call them DEI, diversity, diversity, equity, and inclusion hires, AKA they're trying to insinuate you are not qualified and you merely got hired because of the color of your skin. That disrespectful foolishness. When DEI really means it is an offshoot, it was formerly affirmative action. You want to know why I know so much about affirmative action? Outside of the fact that I know so much about a lot of things, because my mother used to be the deputy director for affirmative action for the New York State Office of Mental Retardation and all its upstate and downstate facilities. That's how I know. That's how I know. I know what affirmative action is. Affirmative action is the auto correction and the righting of flat out wrongs. Hold on. All the people who had been wronged in society over the annals of time, that is what, 1 second, I'm sorry, guys. You see this private summons coming upon me. Y'all talk amongst yourself. Give me 1 second, please. Talk amongst yourself. I shall return momentarily. Uno momento. Okay. Well, not sure why that didn't go, but you guys talk amongst yourself for a second. Thank you, guys. That was a commercial break. Soon we're going to start having advertising commercial breaks in those spots as well. If you guys are interested in advertising a product that you make or a service you provide, by all means, send an email out to the dopestnerd@gmail.com, and we will most certainly get to you. Thank you for all of you guys who have been buying items off of Nirvana's college wish list. I thank you so much. I appreciate you all. She is just so filled with warmth and love every time she receives something new. Thank you guys so much. It is, as a mom who I told you my husband is dearly departed, and so much of the rearing, because he was ill with kidney disease, has been on me. And I take that responsibility with joy, wholeheartedly, and no reservations or regrets. However, you know, it ain't cheap. And we do what we want to do. Now, I know all the stuff about society and, you know, college and blah, 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 but this is what my child wants to do. Yeah, there's a lot of things. No one's obligated to go to college. You can get a trade, you can get a career. However, this child has aspirations that you cannot fulfill from watching YouTube. These aspirations far exceed what you can get around this place. And so she is going to fulfill her desire to pursue her education. And I support her in every fiber of my being. I support her in her endeavors. I appreciate the love offerings that you guys are sending to assist her in that journey, because education ain't cheap. When I say it ain't cheap, it ain't cheap. But I digress. Let's go back. If you can't see the correlational relationships between the firing of Moren Comey, the connection from Moren Comey for the job she did, and the inability to the inability to procure a conviction on all of the charges, especially the RICO charge, then you don't understand relationships. All of this is quid pro quo. One hand wash the other, or for a moment, one hand wash the other, or Trump doing things to bait and switch all of you. Trump's loyalists have realized everything that he said was a lie. Now, I was looking in the playlist for YouTube to let you guys know when it was that I made that Trump. Where I did the Trump, let's see. I had a lot of people very upset about that Trump episode. Lots of people. Not exactly sure why. People seem to be livid. Oh, people had lost their mind when I did that Trump. I don't know why. I spoke all facts and I cited my sources on everything. Many of you came to understand who Trump was because of The Apprentice. I have a different take on it. I knew who Trump was because I grew up in New York, And Trump and his family been a family of shysters for how long? I did the Trump thing 5 months ago. Well, no, that was another Trump thing. Hold on, let me find the one I'm really talking about. Didn't realize I had done so. I did. So you think you know Trump 7 months ago. If, let's just say, had mainstream society endeavored to hear me out, so you think you know Trump. In fact, I will screen some of So You Think You Know Trump in this video because, listen here, there's so much here. There is so much. Trump has been a shyster. Back in the 70s, there was a housing development in Brooklyn called Starrett City. Those of you from Brooklyn who are watching, my people from Brooklyn, call it Starrett City. But you know what it is. It's Starrett City. It's a housing development, not the projects, a lovely housing development that had high-level buildings, and I think they were probably maybe 14 stories each, maybe give or take a floor. Not exactly sure how tall the buildings were, but they were tall. And it was a massive, like a cooperative complex. I think some of them were condos. I don't know. I think they converted to condos eventually, but when they were just apartments, they were developed by Trump and his father. Now, of course, in any state, you're supposed to have anti-racism laws. You are not supposed to be able to prevent people from renting an apartment predicated on their race, origin, or sexual origin, gender, boo, 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 everything. They didn't care. You could call in and say, "Hi, I'm calling." Back when you would call for an apartment, not before you went online and filled out. You would call and be like, "Hi, I'm interested in renting an apartment." And if you have I resent this so much, but if you can articulate in a manner where your national origin or race is not readily accessible to the person on the phone, they can think that you're possibly white. And so they invite you down. Sure, we have lots of vacancies. Come on down. Oh, how much is it to rent this size apartment? How much is it to rent that size apartment? Oh, a 1-bedroom is this amount. A 2-bedroom is that amount. A 3, how many people in your family? Okay, well, you would, work with a 3-bedroom. And you would call and you would go down and you had your money, you had your stuff in order, you had your pay stubs, you could rent an apartment. They give you the keys, you keep on going. Oh, we have tons of vacancies. However, when the families would get there and they would be Black, they would say, "Oh, I don't know who told you that. We don't have any vacancies. We're booked solid. We have a waiting list." And so many people complained. Somebody literally had their white friend go down after they were denied an apartment, go down the very same day to rent an apartment, and they were granted the apartment. They were told, "We have lots of vacancies. You have any referrals? We can give you a referral fee." After they had just told a Black family, "We don't have any apartments." And so they all went and complained to the federal government, from which the federal government began sending spotters down. Fake couples with the exact same credentials, one Black, one white, same credentials. All they would do is change the name on the application and all of the stuff. Send them down with these fictitious identities, but same credentials. And on every single, and listen, the feds don't arrest you and then investigate. The feds they will investigate you. They will lay wait your ass for years and watch every single thing you do. If you work 40 hours a week on your regular job and then go volunteer for another 40 hours a week at the youth home and smoke a little crack on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the feds know. Okay? So they watched him and kept sending spotters over and over and over again down to Starrett City to rent an apartment, for which every single time the Black didn't get it, the white got it. And then they filed a federal charge against them. And they were found guilty. Okay? And this was back in the 70s. back in the 70s and the 80s. They have been scallywags. Been scallywags. Oh. No, not those buildings. No. I see Naima saying, no, it wasn't across from Coney Island. Starrett City is like all the way down. It's considered East New York, Brownsville, kind of. There were some other tall buildings. I might have missed a comment or so. But Kayla put it in a chat for you. Decades old housing discrimination from Trump. Decades old. Okay, Hackation, today. Decades old housing discrimination plagues Donald Trump. You know your girl is all about cite her sources. But see, I didn't have to get this. Exactly. Thank you, Cook's Crate. Thank you for saying that, my love. And also how him and his scallywag. Ooh, honey, who got a Pinot Grigio? Luna, get your auntie a Pinot Grigio now. I need a drink. Listen, him and his scallywags also came and rioted. He encouraged. This is a former, hey, Martha, a former president. When he made the statement, he said, if Joe Biden wins, this is rigged. You want to know why he said that? Because he rigged it so that he could win. So he said, if Joe Biden wins, this is rigged. It's fraud, because he was already committing fraud. So he's like, if your fraud beat my fraud, then I know you frauding. People act like they don't hear those things. There's a cognitive dissonance that's rampant in this land. People act like they don't hear those things. So the person who encouraged his followers to come to the steps of the Capitol building, where the legislature of this yet to be United States of America, whether we like them or not, there is order. There has to be order for any civilization to exist. He encouraged his followers to break it. Could you imagine if any other demographic group in these yet to be United States of America broke into the Capitol? Was outside with guillotines? These people built guillotines and brought them to the site and erected them in front of the Capitol. Guillotines. You know what a guillotine is? With the lever and the asymmetrical blade, and they put your head in and chop your head off. These people hung nooses. They erected wood. Brought their power tools out and erected hangman's nooses in wood structures outside of the Capitol. I remember somebody said, how come it took so long for the cops to get there, law enforcement to get there? You want to know why it took so long for law enforcement to show up? Because they was already on the premises. They just was wearing regular clothes. And I don't mean undercover. I mean the MAGA crowd. A lot of those were law enforcement agents. In fact, when they got arrested, that's when we came to know there were fire chiefs, attorneys, doctors, all kinds of people. The supervisor of the sanitation department, tons of people. They literally assassinated police officers. This is the law and order group of people. This man was big brethren with Epstein. You know what they was doing. What you think they was doing? I told y'all personally, and I said in this thing, and I told there's another content creator who tried to argue me down. I did an interview on his channel. Argue me down. Trump is great. Trump is great. And let me say another thing, because I do not know what method and measure of crack that a bunch of black men are smoking, because you guys are a malignant form of Ebola. Y'all is the flesh-eating bacteria of our society, because y'all was trumping hard for Trump. And you are the very people he hates like there's no other. When y'all see him interact with other black people, there are wealthy people. That's when they lay the color aside and it becomes the wealth gap. You don't remember me showing a video of Trump saying, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose a vote. Why would you elect a person who says such a thing? Who says such a thing? And now, by the use of Article 2, he fired Moren Comey. Not only did she prosecute Puffy, she also prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Do you know why he's running scared right now? Guess why? Because if you said the Epstein files were fake and it was a creation of Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail? Because if Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone and traffic small people and do all these things to all these people, and there's no Epstein list and it was all a fake, then why is she convicted? But you played yourself. You thought you ate, but you played yourself. As soon as she heard you up there talking about, oh, this is Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, this is Biden, they made this up, this is fake Obama. She was like, oh, word? Oh, really? It's fake? Attorneys, draw them papers up, please. Let me get up on out of here. Because if he ain't guilty of nothing and there's no list exists, then why am I here? Why am I here on life sentence? Listen, he don't want to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. He's trying to bury her. He don't want to pardon her. He is trying to get the DOJ, aka Pam Bondi, to make sure they decline every attempt for a new trial or anything. Because guess what? Ghislaine Maxwell is now talking. She froggy in her chest. She like, oh, it wasn't no Epstein list? Well, Ninja, I got the list. So since you convicted me, there's no double jeopardy. You can't reconvict me because you convicted me already. So since you convicted me already, even though they had a proffer agreement for original time that Epstein was convicted in Palm Beach County for the trafficking of little people. Some of y'all don't know. He was convicted in Epstein. They covered it up. He only ended up with like 14 months. And a lot of times he was out for weekends and stuff. They made this disgusting deal that covered him and co-conspirators. The man who was the U.S. attorney in Palm Beach County then came over to Trump administration and became Secretary of HUD or something like that. If y'all don't see a problem, it's not if he's not on the list. He on the mother effing list. He is the list. This is what they do. Let's say in no uncertain terms. Excuse me, Kayla, if you would be so kind, my love. I think this is a great time for the disclaimer. We good, Miss Lady T. How you doing, baby? We are excellent. How are you, my love? Oh, my God. There is so much going on here. Guys, please, let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. You know what the TI is. Let's get those likes up. Act like y'all know here. Y'all understand what it is. And if you are so inclined, by all means, share some love offering with your girl, K-Lig. You see it, $ KAYLIGG. That is your mod who's in charge, the headmaster herself. Make sure you send a love offering to your mod. And y'all see that $THADOPESTNERD up there. Y'all know what it do. And thank you for all of you who actually send stuff and just be showing love to your girl. I appreciate it. Listen, this is my job. This is what I do. I bring you guys the news. You can't trust CNN, MSNBC, all the rest of the legacy news media. You can't trust them. They like to truncate and tailor their stories. I want to read something for you. If you will, K-Leg, let me get that disclaimer, baby, so I could read this thing. The Trump, and when you guys have time, make sure you go into the playlist for the lives. And the Trump playlist from 7 months ago was, So You Think You Know Trump, Part 1. I was going to do a 4-part thing. And then all the Trump people flooded over. I didn't realize that because I put Trump in the picture and in the title, it was going to draw the ire of Trumpians all over the internet. And they came in here and they tried to run amok, baby. They was harassing me. They tried to strike my channel. Even they did a copyright thing. I had to go through this my first time. Who child? The views expressed by the Dopest Nerd are protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Show your love and support for $ the Dopest Nerd Kaylee, please. Oh, there you go, baby. And show your love and support for $ KAYLIGG. Wait, Hackation. Well, what the one? Okay. Show your love and support for $ KAYLIGG. This is what we do here, guys. This is what we do for a living. By all means, show your support. We appreciate it. It happens on all of the channels. Y'all know what a TI is. This is what it is. We're not asking anything outside of the norm. This is the Trump playlist. Natanya's Trump video. Scroll on, copy this and put it in your clipboard. Copy and paste it into your notes. Whatever you need to do. It's in there. Go on the lives in the playlist. I did it 7 months ago. That live was 3 hours and 52 minutes and 5 seconds. Action-packed with citing sources galore. See, Trump had a massive problem. Anytime, y'all know those people at your job, they never take accountability. They will always be like, they're always looking for an opportunity to throw somebody under the bus. And so when the boss says, do this, they never worried about what their assignments are. They always up in your stuff. They'll walk past, they see you, they see the boss. If you look too cute that day, you walk in your outfit nice, they'll walk up to the boss and be like, did you get that report back yet? Because I wanted to add something in it, and it was the assignment you were supposed to do. They're always trying to highlight somebody else's stuff. It is called throw a rock, hide your hand. Throw a rock, hide your hand. Trump used the grift, almost like the grift that was being run on YouTube by some of your lovely content creators looking for a grift. They did the Puffy grift, aka the Diddy trial grift. And then when that gravy train ended, when that chuck wagon ended, they was trying to go on to another grift. But I chopped that off at the ankles because we're not playing that game. You're not about to use Black women as your new linchpin grift to get the chuck wagon running. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not on my watch. And I try to make sure that I bring you all of the important, formative news discussions, things that are relevant to our culture. Also, let me say this disclaimer. Smash the subscribe. Hackation is doing a lot tonight. I've been pressing so many comments and it'll just take it off. Smash the subscribe button and make sure your notifications are set to all so you don't miss a live. Another thing. Let me stick a pin. I should have done this at the beginning. Allow me to take a moment. I lost a very dear friend of mine recently, a day or two ago. But this is how I always tell you guys about the relationship that I have with God and how this gift is heavy and this gift is, let me show y'all something. I just want to, this wasn't intended, but I feel like it's my duty to, because here's the deal. We know no man knows the day or the hour. No man knows the day or the hour. And while no man knows the day or the hour, the one thing we know irrefutably is that there will be a day and an hour where we will be of the ages, where we will become the ancestors, where the Lamb's Book of Life page is turned and our name is not on it. We know that for certain. And so if nothing else, we have to take those times, those moments, that time out and acknowledge our people that we lost. I lost a very dear friend who was a super dope guy. Really dope guy, like truly life of the party type of guy. Just so weird. And so I was sitting on my couch with my daughter, Kaylee, me and my girl be sitting on the couch, just laughing, talking, doing different things, whatever. And so we were sorting out things corresponding to her college. And I have to give credit to this picture. One of these pictures is the property of Video Music Box, which was, most of you know what Video Music Box is. Video Music Box was the original video music show that showed Black videos. MTV and all of them back in the day, you could not see a Black. They wouldn't even play Michael Jackson on MTV, okay? In fact, Michael Jackson was the first Black video. And this is recent history. We ain't talking about slavery day. We talk about current recent history. But they wouldn't show Black videos on MTV and anybody who had that type of stuff. Michael Jackson was the first, and there were so many, but there is a gentleman named Ralph McDaniels, VJ Ralph McDaniels. In fact, that's the first time we really heard the term VJ, who's a video jockey, Ralph McDaniels, because he created a place where Black artists could come and make music videos and have their videos that were representative of the culture, representative of what we did, and illustrated and highlighted us, allowed us to see ourselves. And he has a treasure trove, all of the music videos of those days, because he was the only person that had access to them. Nobody else would show Black videos. And so he is made, they have to buy segments of music videos from him because he is the architect of holding all of these videos. He has archives of video footage, and they have to, and he originally was the host of the show, VJ Ralph McDaniels, for Video Music Box. He had a clothing store. It just happened to be right next door to my beauty salon in New York. This is, I keep telling you, your girl is old legacy, old triple OG stuff. VJ Ralph McDaniels, his clothing store, Uncle Ralph's Urban Gear, was right next door to my beauty salon, Ebony the Trackmaster Salon. But he had a host of his show, and the host of his show was Ray Dejon, a very good friend of mine. Ray Dejon was Mr. Entertainment, Mr. Everything, Mr. Get the Party Started, Mr. Show Host, Mr. Comedy Show, Mr. Everything. He was the life of the party. He just had a certain je ne sais quoi about him. And I think that's why this loss hit so hard. So Nirvana and I were sitting on the couch. Today is what, Wednesday? What is today's date? Y'all know your girl is on Kairos. Today's Wednesday. Nirvana and I were sitting on the couch on Monday. Nirvana pulls up a picture of me. This picture is over 35 years old. She pulls up randomly. She's just like, oh, mommy. And I was like, what? And she's like, I love this picture of you. This is one of my favorite pictures of you. And I said, which one? She turned it around and she showed it to me. And she said, who's that man again? I said, that's Ray Dejon. I said, child, look at me and Ray. Look at me and Ray Dejon. Just dope guy. Well, unbeknownst to us, and I mean, y'all know my situation. Your girl been on, I was gonna say on ice, but I don't think that's an appropriate term right now. Your girl been off the scene for quite some time. But Nirvana said this to me, mommy, I love this picture of you. And she's like, who's this man again? And I said, oh, that's Ray Dejon. And I said his name Monday. The evening continues to go on. Now, I haven't really been on social media like that. I go on Facebook randomly. Something says, the Holy Spirit says, go on Facebook. I go on Facebook. Soon as I open it, it says, our condolences, our brother Ray Dejon has passed away. I was like, what? I said, no, I just talked about him yesterday. Now, mind you, the day that it was announced that he passed away was his birthday. He actually was advertising. There's videos of him online advertising. He was having a party the day after his birthday, a celebrity roast, where he was going to be roasted by all these other people in the industry and, you know, for his birthday and all that stuff. And everybody was excited. One of the roasters was VJ Ralph McDaniels, his former boss. And unfortunately, not only did this man pass away, and God saw fit to come and drop and let me and Nirvana know, I literally called his name. He died the day before. He died that Monday of a heart attack. I had no way of knowing. We didn't find out until Tuesday. Tuesday was his birthday. This is how infinite God's mercy and wisdom and grace on our lives is. Because one more day would have been his birthday. God said, no, I allotted you this a number of years, and you shall not cross over into that next day. Oddly enough, and sad to say, his daughter had a baby shower in April. I don't know if the baby was born yet. The baby more than likely has been born already. But you know, in ancient times and in the ancestors and the old people used to say, one will go so the next one can come. That means when you have a death, there's usually, it's within a correlational relationship to a birth, because one is leaving to make room for somebody else to come. That's old people talk. I want to show y'all the picture that Nirvana pulled out. And I don't mean to interrupt this, but this is my friend, and this is my channel, and I'm going to show the picture because I want to give, and I'm going to make a special little thing for him too in honor of him. But I just, it's just so disheartening that the Hackation is showing out today. Okay, Hackation. Let me use this one. Okay. Hackation is showing out, boy. Hackation is showing out. Look at your girl. That is the dopest nerd. That's what my face looked like before I got shot. That is me and Ray Dejon. And credit given to Video Music Box. This is their picture. This picture is their intellectual property. I was singing one day, and Kayla said, "It's my channel, and that's what I want to do." Kayla said, "It's my channel, and I'll do what I want to do." I don't know why it just disappeared, but this is me prior to getting shot. This was when I was a young girl. I was probably 24, 25. I don't know. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And Ray was just a dope. He's just a dope guy. Like, I mean, I know his people, like his sister, like he would throw ski trips. Me and his sister were roommates when we would go to the ski trips. Like, Ray, just such a dope man. Here's another picture of him. And this is how I want to remember him. I actually wrote a tribute to him on Facebook. And I guess it's on Facebook and Instagram. If y'all follow me, listen, the Hackation is showing they behind. Okay? Okay. This is how I want to remember him. And this is him in his older years. Like recently, this is, you know, Hackation doing what he want to do, boy. Okay, Hackation. This is Ray. This is Ray in recent times. Oh, thank you. Wow, Simply Natural Bell said, yeah, Ray, Right Sound Studio. Ray passed away yesterday, or the day before yesterday. She said, your face, not just beautiful, but so pure, innocent, sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He was such a dear friend of mine. And I appreciate, he was such a dope man. Yes. Dope man, young guy, like so much. I mean, the man literally has been advertising his birthday party, which was supposed to be, they still had it taking place tonight. Royal Jenkins said, Nas narrated a documentary about Ralph, Video Music Box, and Ralph McDaniels like 3 years ago. Indeed. And Ralph is a dear friend of mine as well. You know, it's ironic because Nirvana had just showed me the picture on Monday. And she said, who's this man again? I said, that's Ray Dejon. That's Ray. And that was the day he passed away. Is it odd to believe that it almost sounds, because it's not about me, but is it odd for me to believe that why is God letting me know? Why is God bringing these things past me? Because this has happened so many times. Why is God bringing these things past me of people that I know? Like he could have brought this knowing to anybody. Or is it that these people are coming to me? They're Like, what is my standing in the spirit realm that people that are leaving pass by, and for some reason God either imparts it to me or the people themselves reach out to me. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But what is the irony? I haven't said Ray's name in ages. I mean, not ages like forever and a day, because I see his videos and stuff, but I haven't, like, for me to have a discussion, for Nirvana to say, Mommy, this is one of my favorite pictures of you. And for me, and she like, who's this? It would be God to make her ask me, who's this? Everything is of God. And it would be God to make her say, what's the likelihood that the day this man departs from the earth, Nirvana says to me on the couch, Mommy, this is one of my favorite pictures of you. And who's that man? And I'm like, oh, that's Ray Dejon. Look at me and Ray. I said, oh, we was young. We was doing our thing. And I was just so excited and laughing. And when people are called home, how come it passes me? I'm not exactly, his spirit was among me. That's the best I could say, Monique. Thank you. Absolutely. Yes. And Mary said, he's got you, lady. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And it's always nice when you know, and like I said, we were very good friends. I mean, this friendship is old. Like, I would say, I'm comfortable saying 38 years. And here's the thing about when people that you know depart, and I don't mean to interrupt. I need to take a mental break because the Trump thing is making me crazy. But here's something about when people you know are leaving, and it's not just, we all know that we will depart from this earth. But when certain people depart, not only is it he's my counterpart, so it makes me, he definitely left an impression. Aw, Kaylee said you leave an impression. Thank you, sis. Luna said he wanted you to remember him like the pic. Thank you, baby girl. Hey, Patricia. Sarah said, so crazy, and we can never be sure as we are in this realm, but what are the chances? Gut feeling, indeed. So this is what I something kept yinging on me, like there was some lingering thing, and I said, let me write something for everybody that's feeling, because my entire timeline, I mean, is flooded everywhere. Ray was well known. Now that's a celebrity. Ray was well known. Thank you, guys. Michael, let me tell you something. I know you are truly Archangel. I know you're not just a name. I know you are an Archangel for real, for real. Archangel said, no, say it. You can feel it. It is God. Natanya Rubin, we have to watch them go. Only the strongest of will can accomplish this task for God. It is time. It is the time. Aquarius ends in 16 years. You said so yourself. Indeed. And did you see me fighting to not say it, because I'm always conscious. It's not about, I don't ever want to make it like it's about me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm always very conscious of how things come across. Normally I'm just fluid and I speak and talk and let y'all hear what my feelings say, but every now and then I will hold back because I'm always, I don't want to make it a me fest, because it's not. So I wrote this post about 2 hours ago. I said, rest in peace, Ray Dejon. This is how I want to remember you, with that other picture. Let me put that other picture. Well, I could leave this one. But I said, this is how I want to remember you. To all the friends and family of Ray Dejon who are experiencing his loss, my thoughts and prayers are with you. Stand in your grief. Say his name. Feel your feels. And be sure to check in on yourself. We didn't just lose a friend. The loss of a man like Ray is the closing of a chapter of our generation. Ray was the party starter, the host with the most, the face/voice of a generation. Mr. Video Music Box himself, alongside our great brother, VJ Ralph McDaniels, the brainchild. The transition of Ray reminds us that, like hip hop, we are aging. We still have more left in us. So a loss like this, a man who is the quintessential party starter, hits particularly hard. Life of the party, Mr. Ski Trip, Mr. Comedy Show host, Mr. Open Mic Showcase, Mr. Club Owner, Mr. Video Music Box VJ, makes us of a certain generation face our own mortality. For our God says in Matthew 24:36, but concerning, I'm sorry, pushed it away. Hey, boo-boo, you good?
I saw I was next to Kobe and I saw a bug on him. Like
that's okay. Don't be scared. Where's Auntie? You want to go to Auntie room? You want to stay down here with Grandma? Why you pass Auntie's room? You want to stay with Grandma? Move that off the chair and stay with Grandma. Remember you said you was going to host the show for me today. I told the people you were going to host. You don't want to host? You sure? Okay, move that and sit. Move the bag with the brown jacket in it right there.
Upstairs, but
stay with me for a little while. I'm not staying on long. I'll be off soon. So just stay with Grandma. I said, I'm sorry. Huh? What?
Can I move it like closer?
What, the couch? Give me a second, guys.
Like here.
I'm on Grandma duty. You want me to move it up here like this? First, I was telling you to move this so you can sit right here.
And move it here.
Right in front of the desk? Well, that carpet is there. I'm not going to, that carpet's heavy. But I'll move it right here. How's this? That's perfect. You're on Grandma. You're chilling out in the office with Grandma? You want me to move the other one too? Huh?
What?
That.
No, it's good.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm on Grandma duty. Today's my daughter-in-law's birthday, and I want to say a shout out to my daughter-in-law, Marley. Happy birthday. The best daughter-in-law in the whole wide world. So you got to turn that down, boo. You're going to give me a copyright strike. Can you put headphones on? All right, well, just turn it down a little. Because if they hear it on my stream, then it's going to give me a copyright strike. Okay. For our God says in Matthew 24:36, but concerning the day and the hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. None of us know the day or the hour. Now, he will send out a message to, like he did with, I have to know that was some sort of a message, because what is the likelihood of all the pictures? And let me tell you how deep it goes. Okay. Regardless of your spiritual beliefs or religious affiliation, because none of us knows the day nor the hour of our departure from this earthly realm, make sure that you get your spiritual house in order. Know God personally and repent for all sins. Be righteous, because although we may not know the day nor the hour, we do know that one day our time will be up. Our ticket gets punched. Our name is no longer in the pages of the Lamb's Book of Life. We too will become of the ages, an ancestor, a memory. Prevent God from telling you, depart from me. My finger's so heavy, I keep. Prevent God from telling you, depart from me, I never knew you. Get on your health journey. Love thyself. Rest in peace, Ray Dejon. Fly high. Rest well. Love y'all. Natanya Ebene. Now, it was important for me to write this because we come from a generation. So, listen, everybody has the ability to say what they have to say. However, we come from a generation where we may talk amongst ourselves, but these heartfelt, deep things, our generation was not the felt generation. It's not this generation was like, I feel like I'm being attacked. I feel like you don't value me. This generation, and I'm not knocking them. This generation is in their feelings, but baby, we was raised by baby boomers who ain't talking about no feelings. The only feelings they say is, I feel like you lying. It's the only feeling they ever expressed. I feel like you trying to pluck my nerve and you want me to bust your head to the white meat. Those are their feelings. They didn't, I feel like I need to be heard and I want to express my, no. So my generation, our generation, Ray's generation, this demographic of mine, my culture, the 55-year-olds and up and some around that age. Oh, hearts for the Dopest granddaughter. Oh, Kenny, look, they throwing hearts in the chat for you. You want to see? She said like this, guys.
Wait, that's what like this.
Just put your hands over there. Put your hands. She's giving y'all a heart. Look at all these pink hearts in the chat for you, Kenny. Throw some pink hearts in the chat for the Dopest granddaughter. Come on, baby. Oh, I love you. And you said, note the angels also all have El in their name. El means God. That's right. Emmanuel. And El Shaddai. El Elyon. That's right, Nisi Poo. I know I can compartmentalize and go on to other things, but I promise you, I feel a sense of loss. Ray is a face of a generation. He is that. If I was to try to explain to the next generation who Ray was and what's the big deal about Ray, you know how difficult it would be? How do you explain a man that did so much, that was so much, and it was of a generation that no longer exists? This is, something that never will be again. How do I explain him? How do I quantify who he is to another generation that doesn't know? How? They don't know about the ski trips where friggin' 400, 500, 800 Black people get on get on buses, tour buses, and go up to the mountains and get all this a ski tire, 90% of which ain't never going to get on the skis. Okay? We got pajama party, we got this party, we got that party, we got party in the ski lodge, all this. 90% of them ain't going on those skis. I used to ski. I would snow ski, water ski, I boogie board. I would get out there. It was one chick that was, giving pick me. It was on one of Ray's things. She was very pick me, and she saw this guy she really liked, and he was like, I'm going skiing. So she said, I'm going skiing. And I was like, have you done this before? She was like, I can learn. You could, not doubting your ability. You don't particularly strike me as someone that has skiing in their mental reservoir that they could just pull out. Perhaps you should just chill in the lodge and then see him when he gets back in. No, I could do it. What you trying to say? Who you supposed to be? Okay. Suffice it to say, when I was taking a break from skiing because it was extremely cold, lots of ice, lots of snow, I went to the ski lodge to get a hot chocolate. And who was in there with a cast on, foot elevated? This chick that I had warned. This ain't for. Not only did she not know how to ski, she then went down the intermediate slope. Your first time? Okay. But we have to feel our feels. We have to get in like this generation and feel. Right? Right Sound Studio said feelings. I skinned my knee. You bet. Right Sound said feelings. I skinned my knee. You better put a Band-Aid on it and go back outside before I skin the other one. LOL. Listen, I got a knee story. My little sister was not even a year old. We were in the backyard. We had been in the backyard raking leaves. I was about 9 or 10. And so it started getting dusk, dim outside. And we had still been in the backyard. It wasn't quite dark, but it was dusk. And so the house, we had been outside for so long, the lights in the house were off because it was daytime, so it was dark. The cat jumped into my little sister's crib, and we heard her scream out. So instinctively, I was like, oh no, the cat. I ran upstairs to go rush up the back porch steps to go in the back porch, go in the house, run upstairs, get my sister out the crib. When I jumped and stepped up that step, the back step collapsed. My leg went through it. The adrenaline in me to save my sister, I pulled myself, raised myself up out of it because I was agile, ran in the back porch, ran in the house, up the stairs, got her out of the crib. The cat had scratched her in her face by then. She was an infant, not even a year old yet. Got back down to the backyard with my little sister, handed her off to my mother, and instantly my leg buckled. Broke my kneecap. I was crying. I didn't know my kneecap was broken. I just know I was in a lot of pain. Fractured my kneecap, bawling and crying. My mother said, "Shut up! You think you're the only person hurt your leg?" Snatched my tears away from me. Snatched my tears away for the entirety of my life. You want to know when those tears came back? Snatched my tears away. I probably was a mean sucker for a while. No tears, ice princess. My tears came back when my grandmother called me and said, I want you to know something. Your grandmother passed away. My grandmother was my heart and soul. Oh, you always hear me talk about the illustrious Grandma Boobin, Vivian Amelia Mead. Oh my gosh. I cried so much. My daughter was so afraid. She's like, I don't know what to do. I never saw my mother cry. I was rolling around on my family room floor, bawling and crying. There was a pain. Them cries that came out had been waiting to come out some 40 years. No exaggeration. When I tell you I'm not exaggerating, no exaggeration. The sense of loss and overwhelming grief that I felt. I cried down to the depths of my soul, down to my toes and all the way back up. And it was all them cries that was stolen since I was 9 or 10 that finally came up. And it was treacherous, and that's not healthy. Especially since I would go on to a few months after that, my little sister had a stroke. Like a couple months after that, my little sister had a stroke while giving birth to my nephew. And then a few months later, my husband had a massive heart attack and would go on to eventually pass away. So God was like, oh, you didn't let the feels come out? God bless you, baby. Oh, you didn't got that cry out? Well, we might as well get it all out one time. And baby, I went through a period of 1.5 years where I had to be strong, and I was strong and weak at the same time. I was so devastated when my husband passed away that he was in the hospital in Miami. I had to fly down, me and Arana flew down. So I'm driving around and would just bust out crying and be sitting in traffic, not moving. My cousin Nicole had to fly down there. I would just sit in traffic and stop and just cry, bawling. If a song was on the radio, I'd be like, he's talking to me. And I would just go crazy. Grief is dangerous if it's not addressed. I want y'all. Luna said, this is very real. Our bodies and brains can teleport us back to in time, even if we suppress it for years. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you'll become that little 10-year-old girl again, rolling around on the floor, inconsolably crying, and no one can say anything to you. I didn't want anybody to talk to me. I didn't want anybody to say anything to me. I didn't want anybody to breathe on me. I didn't want them to breathe the same air. I didn't want nobody around. Okay? I didn't want anybody around because I just, So I need us in our generation who has never really been given permission to grieve and to feel our feels. I need us, if you are 40 and over, feel your feels. Matter of fact, I would even take it back to 30. I would even take it back to 30, let's say 33. If you're 33 and older, please get in touch with your feelings. Get in touch with your feelings, because that generation under that, 30-year-olds, they were given the right to feel. The rest of us were not. And the older you are, we truly was not given the right to feel. Put a Band-Aid on it. What you gonna do, cry all day? So was I supposed to hear your tears all day? Don't nobody want to hear that. It's not right. It's not right. And here's the deal. I don't come in judgment of them back then. Now, I will stand in judgment of you now that if you're telling and sequestering your children's tears and emotions and pain. I have a problem judging you. However, the people back then, our ancestors, our parents, from a time gone era where they were not given the feels, they were not allowed to express their feels, they definitely were unable to allow us. Yeah. If you were a parentified child, you couldn't feel it. Indeed. Suck it up and keep moving. Yes. Yes. Suck it up and keep moving. It was like, what you want, a cookie? That's where that generation, where that statement came from. So what you supposed to want, a cookie? You want a dog biscuit? Like, what? I want to cry. I'm a human. I'm a child. But we weren't. Symphony Naturel said true, and when held in, it comes out unannounced. That's right. And it's toxic. It will come out. Listen, you will bleed on somebody that didn't cut you if you don't get in touch with those feelings. That's why if you hurt me bad enough, I'll forgive you, but we are done. The negative energy is overwhelming to me. That's right, Right Sounds. I hear you. Monique said, yes, to be strong and weak at the same time. Sweet Jesus, been there. Oh my God, I said that yesterday. Where was I? In fact, I said it out like, I went somewhere and these ladies were like, oh my God, you are so true. You look familiar. So of course they realized who I was. I met two very nice ladies sitting down. We shared a table at a dinner theater venue to watch Intro, which is my favorite group. And they literally saved me. Intro saved me when after I got shot. Intro, Dave Brubeck, Take 5, Miles Davis, Live at the Village Vanguard, a particular song, Blue Rondeau, but all of them. And Intro, New Life album, and Voyage to India, saved my life. When I tell you saved my life, okay? Saved me. And so I saw a few days ago that they were here and I was like, what? Oh no, I have to go sit down with them and hear them. And the lead singer, Kenny Green, rest in peace, Kenny Green, passed away years ago. And I knew Kenny. My cousin Trina, her daughter's father, and one of his friends, her daughter's father, Reginald, and his friend Jerome had a barbershop in New York, very popular barbershop called Skills. And, you know, it was a who's who of people there. And I used to get my hair done by a stylist there named Pumpkin, and she was a friend of mine. And that's where I knew him from. The last time I saw him was actually in there. And I was standing beside him. And this was in my early spiritual walk. I was a spiritual, not even a spiritual infant. I was a spiritual zygote. I was a spiritual embryo. Before it became the embryo, when it's just a zygote, I was a spiritual embryo. And I was not in tune with my gift like I should have been. And I could feel his energy like crazy, wanting to talk and wanting to say something he was going through. I could feel his energy. And when dealing with people, anybody, I don't like to overstep my boundaries, or I don't like to violate the sanctity of somebody's private moments. He was a celebrity, and so it took it to another spectrum. I don't want to just overwhelm anybody or be in the midst of, you know what I'm saying? But I could tell, I could feel the woes on him, and I wanted to say something. And we made eye contact, and he just looked down. And I didn't want to violate. I was waiting for a taxi. I didn't want to violate his privacy or what he was going through. And like I said, I wasn't in tune with my feelings at the time. So I just didn't say anything. I just stood there relatively close so that whatever this feeling was that he was enduring, he didn't feel alone. And at one point he looked up at me, and I know he could feel that I could feel his woes. And we had a silent agreement. I just stood there for a while. Eventually, when the time started to run, I had to skedaddle, and I did that. And I always regret that I didn't say anything to him, because that was the last time I saw him in person. And then, you know, sometime after that, he passed away. Sophia Bernardo said, As a daughter of a single Haitian immigrant who suffered from mental illness, in her eyes, I hadn't suffered enough like her to have emotions worthy of response. Now, you didn't said a whole mouthful, girl. You didn't said a whole mouthful. That right there is the sauce. That's what it is. Because our parents, those baby boomers, and that whole generation, and even some of the, because some people had late in life babies, that's what it is. Oh, K-Lig said, you get a membership. You get a membership. Who will it be? K-Lig gifted one Dopest Nerd membership, guys. Shout out to whoever wins it. Make sure you show your love. Thank you so much, K-Lig, for gifting a membership. Make sure you guys show your love, whoever receives it. And get your memberships up, guys. We're getting ready to have a whole lot of stuff to offer you, and a lot of it is going to be member only. But Sophia, you said a mouthful, and let me tell you something. That's what it is. Our elders, their generation felt like, y'all don't know what hard life is. All you didn't have no hard life. Well, it's in America, doing whatever you want to do. You have this, that. You ain't have no hard life. So they don't want to hear what we got to say. They don't want to hear what we got to say. It almost seems like, because it's insulting to complain, because look how much they did without and they endured. And so, I think people forget that the silent generation, pre-baby boomers, were given that name for a reason. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right, Nisi Poo. She said, I think people forget that the silent generation, the pre-baby boomers, were given that name for a reason. They sucked it up and moved on. Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something. I would say to my grandma, I love you, Grandma Boobin. And she would be like, I love you too. She would get so coy and demure. And it was almost as if I used to force it, because I loved my grandmother with all my heart. And I used to be like, I love you, Grandma. I love you. And I would always say it. And she would be like, I love you too, my dear. Of course, as I grew older and I just kept shoving it down her throat, she was like, I love you, not dear, but baby. And listen, for a very long time, no secret, I was my grandmother's favorite in the family. It was just widely known, widely accepted, and that's what it is. And that's what it was. Until my son Donovan came along, and then he became her favorite. And it was widely known and widely accepted, and in all the grandkids and everything. Everybody knew, and it was just what it was. Donovan's grandma's favorite. And, took my spot. Clean took my spot, but I had it for quite a number of years. So, it's what it was. And I'm not advocating for that or saying that's the best way to be, because that I understand that can impact other people as well. But that notwithstanding, it's what it was. But I just want to take that time to give a love to Ray Dejon. He was a man among men, king among kings, great friend, great person, gave so much to the culture, gave way more than he ever took, and he wrote it till the wheels fall off. And I definitely want to say, rest in peace, Ray. To the end of a legacy and it's like the end of a dynasty. It's the end of this culture, this thing we had, that 80s and 90s, 2000s cannot ever be replicated. There is no way. And this is how I choose to remember him. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. And, I know I diverted from our original topic, but I'm going to splice this video, but I'll go back to it. Rest in peace, Ray. Now back to the scallywags of all scallywags. What's happening here, guys, I told you before, K-Lig and I have come up with some stuff. We are going to bring you, I will come up tomorrow and we're going to talk about bug out bags and things like that, because it's just getting crazy. See, normally I have these discussions and I have bug out bags. I have, I call it my ice box in case of emergency. And never with a simple word like ice. Who would have ever thought that a word like ice would be taken and abused? But I have an in case of emergency box. You need to put all of your family members' names, especially your family members. You need to add I.C.E next to it in case of emergency. You need to make sure you get these items. You need to plan for the eventuality. This man doesn't want to leave office. He came into office and said, I will be a dictator starting on the first day. All of the things that he said, shout out, oh, that's my friend KJ, y'all. Give some love to my boy KJ, Kermit Haynes. That's my homie Pastrami. Absolutely. And oh, thank you, KJ. I didn't even see he said beautiful picture. Child, you ain't see the old picture of me. I don't know if I ever showed you this picture. This is me and I don't know why the hackation is doing what it want to do, but it has like a delay or something. This is me and Ray Dejon. That's me back in the days, like 35 or 38 years ago. And it's funny. I tell people all the time, my life exists in pre-shot, post-shot. Sounds weird to people. I know it's a weird dichotomy, but I have a pre-shot, post-shot file cabinet in my head of my life. And it's just weird, but it is what it is. And I want you guys to prepare yourself. I want to be able to continue this topic tomorrow because I know it's going to expand further. Let me just read a little of the Political article that I pulled up in regards to it because it is so important. Exactly. Luna said it's not weird. As we all know, it's pre-COVID, Covisha and post-Covisha. But let me read this Political article to you guys about this firing. Fair use. Let me get that fair use disclaimer, K-Leg. We got 10 minutes, so I want to get into this. Listen, honey, the headmaster be crapping the whip, honey. She be cracking that whip on me. Moren Comey, this is according to Politico. Moren Comey, daughter of James Comey and prosecutor of Jeffrey Epstein, is fired. Comey, who had worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office for nearly a decade. I need you to turn that down, boo-boo. Don't get my show struck. It's too late. Kenny, you turn it down? I need you to turn that down a little. Just a smidge. I'm about to be off in 10 minutes. Okay. Comey, who had worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office for nearly a decade, prosecuted both Jeffrey Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, as well as Puffy. Moren Comey, who prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein, is now former FBI Director James Comey's daughter, was fired Wednesday from her job in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, according to two people familiar with the matter who were granted anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. The reason for her firing was not immediately clear. She did not immediately respond to phone calls and emails seeking a comment. Spokespeople for the Justice Department of the U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment. Comey, who had worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office for nearly a decade, prosecuted both Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. In recent weeks, President Donald Trump, his Attorney General Pam Bondi have faced a firestorm of criticism over their decision not to release the additional files related to Epstein. The disgraced financier, who was accused of running child trafficking ring, prosecutors in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, including Comey, charged Epstein in 2019 with sex trafficking of little people. He unalived by suicide in jail while awaiting trial on those charges. Maxwell was convicted of sex trafficking and sentenced to 20 years in prison. She is appealing her conviction. And while I don't authorize her to, I don't agree with her appealing her conviction. She has every right, if you stand up before the court and say nothing ever happened. That would absolutely be grounds for someone, but I don't want her out. Let me just make that clear, because people slice it up and be like, Natanya wants me. No. Comey's firing also comes as the Trump administration is reportedly investigating her father, whom Trump had long reviled. The investigation apparently relates to James Comey's role in the probe of links between Trump's 2016 campaign and Russia, as well as a recent Instagram post by James Comey that Trump allies saw as threatening to Trump. And in recent months, Moren Comey has been the target of renewed attacks by voices in Trump's right-wing base, including Laura Loomer, who called on Bondi to fire her in May. More recently, Loomer has been leading the MAGA base's outcry over the Justice Department's decision not to release further Epstein-related documents. Moren Comey was given no explanation for her firing. According to the third person familiar with the matter, who was not authorized to discuss it publicly, that person also said the decision to fire her didn't come from the office's interim U.S. attorney, Jay Clayton, meaning it was likely made by someone at the Justice Department headquarters. Moren Comey's title at the U.S. Attorney's Office was Senior Trial Counsel. Most recently, she was a part of the team which prosecuted Sean Diddy Combs, which failed to win a conviction on the most serious charges. However, he was convicted of 2 charges. The firing is the latest episode to rock the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, formerly known as the Southern District of New York. Earlier this year, the acting U.S. attorney and several other prosecutors resigned in protest after the DOJ ordered the office to abandon the corruption prosecution of New York City Mayor Eric Adams. On Wednesday evening, prosecutors in the office, still shaken by the tumult, rallied around Comey, with dozens of them banding together to escort her out of the office for the last time, according to a person familiar with the matter. This was by Kyle Cheney, contributed to this report, filed under the DOJ, Donald Trump, James Comey, and legal. The author of this piece was Erica Orden, and this was released July 16, 2025 at 6:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fair use, let me read the copyright claim. Copyright fair use, U.S. Code 17, Section 107. Fair use is a limitation to copyright set forth in 17 U.S. Code 107 for purposes such as criticism and commentary. It's important to know, this is not just I'm upset and crashing out because Moren Comey was fired. What you have to understand is when people talk about, the deep state, this is what it looks like. But because we are such an apathetic bunch, because we are such a bunch that everything's not a big deal, this is how it slides under the, and if you keep letting them slide these things by, you will be having a chip in your arm, walking single file in a line with a bunch of people saying, yes, master, yes, master. And that will be your existence, because this is what they do. They make microaggress in small chips away. It takes 1 million little cuts to tear down a whole building. 1 million little cuts. If you keep letting them make 1 million little cuts, eventually there'll be nothing left. There'll be nothing left. And we have to understand the correlational relationship to this. This man is trying to save his neck. He was able to con billionaires and oligarchs to steal and fund his campaign, predicated on the fact that he was going to do all this stuff. Number 1 on the list was release the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. Now, I told you guys back in the days that I remember of my own eyes watching a documentary show. It was like one of the documentary news shows, and I believe it's in my playlist, where I don't know if that one is in the playlist, but I remember one of the young ladies saying that she was brought, fair use, allegedly, to massage Trump. Happy ending. Mar-a-Lago, New York. Epstein. Yes. I remember that. I remember her saying it. She was 14. Not the least of which is they were able to, this is where they procured the people who were less than the age of consent, which is 18 in this country. They were working at Mar-a-Lago in serving and cleaning and housekeeping and all of that. Virginia Giuffre, one of the Epstein survivors who recently passed away, allegedly of suicide, said she was homeless, came from a bad situation. Yes, that's exactly right, Sound Studio. That's exactly what kind of massage it was. She was I don't know if she was a runaway, but she was thrown out. She was 14 years old. She had nowhere to go. She was on the streets. And guess what? She somehow got a job at Mar-a-Lago. You're going to tell me a 14-year-old homeless, runaway, destitute child could get a job at a multimillionaire oligarch's house? Country club? How? You got grown people that can't get that. Yes, she was employed at Mar-a-Lago. And that is where Ghislaine, and I'm tired of all y'all people. Y'all know I'm a stickler for pronunciation. I'll be trying to just let that go by my ears. You're adults. There, if you look online, if you go on Google and you Google a word, there is a little speaker audio phone on the thing. You can press it and it will pronounce the word for you. Not Ghislaine, not Ghislaine, not all those other things. Ghislaine. Ghislaine. Let me say it again. Ghislaine. The S is silent. Just like it ain't salmon, it's salmon. It's silent. I didn't create this. I didn't make this shit up. But can we just stick with the things? I am tired of hearing. It's like scratch nails on a chalkboard. It's Ghislaine. You've heard the word a million times. You've heard the name a million times. Ghislaine. Ghislaine. She doesn't need to get out. She is a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein's. We know this lie that Trump is now telling because he's so desperate. He is a running rat trapped in a corner, backed into a corner that will bite your face off and bite your nose off of your face because he's backed into a corner. And that's what all of this is. He is a petty person. He is ill-equipped to be the president of the United States of America. He has no business being in that office. He is so underqualified. For far too often, when he wrote the book, The Art of the Deal, the guy who acted, he had that book and everybody was like, oh, he's a businessman. He's a big businessman. And the guy who actually wrote the deal, who was his ghostwriter, said he didn't write nothing. It was hard for me to get information out of him. It was hard for me to get, it took forever to finish the book because he's a petulant child. He didn't write no Art of No Deal. There's an author that wrote it. He came out. Just like allegedly his Wharton Business School degree. The guy who took the classes, who was paid by his family to take the class, he came out like, this ninja ain't doing none of that. I took his classes. I took those classes. Allegedly. This man has not accomplished anything, but yet there's all bunch of people, and the ones, listen, you could choose to believe what you want, but the ones who drive me the craziest are these black guys. Because why are you waxing poetically for Trump? What has he ever done and shown you to make you believe that he has your best interest at heart at all? What is it? What level of Stockholm syndrome, cognitive dissonance are you suffering from? Now, that is irrefutable because there were 50 million signs, but these people would not, they had their egos so intact. They edged God out so much. Because that's an acronym for ego, edging God out. They edge God out so much of their rational cognitive thinking from their collective and constructive criticism and cognitive abilities that they were able to rationalize through some level of psychosis. Oh, but if you say Trump this, they'll say, oh, well, what about Biden? Like, ninja, Biden is past history. We are talking about. In fact, you're glorious. I'm going to deport people. Biden deported way more people than Trump did in both of his administrations. Okay? Biden, who y'all thinking did nothing. Yes. But we knew he wouldn't. The difference is all of these people on the Trump train they were a cult. And what happened is they got a dose of, somebody popped the bubble that was the cult. Yes, massa boss syndrome. Yes, Keisha, tell them about it. It was cooked great. It was very oblivious. It was disgusting. It was so disheartening. Yes, it's so disheartening. That's what they got, Keisha. Yes, massa boss syndrome. You can hear how he speaks. Absolutely. So obvious. You're right. Cooks great. And anytime you say something, he's like, it's Obama, it's this one, it's that one, it's this one. It drives me insane to hear all these people. Ghislaine, just Ghislaine. Just Ghislaine. It's not that hard, not that serious. But he comes up with this narrative that, Pam Bondi said not that long ago, the Epstein files are on my desk. I am presently sorting through them. I have the video footage. She said it on Fox News. Dan Bongino said, we have the files. We are going to get to the heart of it. In fact, I think it was in April, they had some Republican content creator, content creator people come out. All right, but guys, I'm about to get off. They had these Republican content creators come to the White House, and they put these, they're very performative. They had these big binders, white binders, and in the front it said Epstein files addendum kind of thing. And they were like, look at it, here it goes, guys, we're getting ready to go into a meeting, the Epstein files. Child, it was a bunch of nothing. Because Trump is not above putting a stack of empty paper. I mean, he even got caught stacking look at all these files, all these laws we wrote and things we wrote into, and people, experts in the paper industry said those are fresh packs of paper that were literally ripped me out the plastic. I've been acting brand new. They ripped them out of the paper, stacked it up, and said they were all these laws they had written in files. It was fresh reams of paper. He's performative. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I truly believe he is in the throes of dementia on a bad, bad way. And so that begs the question, who is in fact running the White House? Who? Because that raggedy old vice president of ours is definitely ill-qualified as well. He's ill-qualified as well. I need y'all to prepare yourselves. Get your bug-out bags together. Make sure that you have adequate water in your house in the event the power grid or something goes down. Because he's that performative. Trump is so performative. He does not want the heat of the Epstein stuff to be on his back, and his own loyalists, MAGA loyalists, have turned on him. You got Dan Bongino, former podcaster, now deputy director of the FBI, saying he's about to quit. That man left Washington the other day, was like, I'm out of here. I'm quitting. Y'all are part of the deep state. Kash Patel also said, I'm quitting. They actually said, are you okay? You want to get a napkin or something? They actually said they actually said if Trump doesn't fire Pam Bondi, the attorney general, they are out of here. Now, that's a heck of a power move. The VP is more dangerous, and here's why. Trump out of his mind. That's why we got to file impeachment. I need everybody, I'm certain there are impeachment petitions online. If you find an impeachment petition for Trump and JD Vance, please sign it. Please sign it. We need to get them both out of here. We know that they were placed in office, and that's why, we know it used to be Elon running, but he's gone. So who's running it now? It's an entire shit show right now because they're all ill-prepared. None of them. Pam Bondi used to be a Fox host. None of them are prepared. They are podcasters and talk show hosts. How the F are they prepared to run the White House and the government? They have eviscerated everything we know about the government. They're closing agencies day to day, eviscerating what was the fabric of the yet to be United States. At least the United States was not. But what happened is, unfortunately, white America realized that they are dispensable in their eyes too. See, they always felt safety in the similarity in the color of their skin. But they now realize all those things they did. If you want to ad nauseum grab up all of the immigrants or the farm workers or whoever that come here, they come through special agreements from their countries and America to come here and work the farms. You snatch all of them up and you send them to a concentration camp in El Salvador and lie about it and said you don't have no authority or no access. You have no control over the people in the concentration camps. And even the El Salvadorian government came out and said, yes, you do. That's a whole lie. Y'all running this show. We're not even really accessing them. We're just simply on duty. He got all them Proud Boy type of dudes out there in these. I mean, come on, for God's sakes, they created a prison called Alligator Alcatraz. They're so disgusting. These are the same people that's like, oh, pro-life. But then you take adult people that are alive and you put them in a concentration camp prison called Alligator Alcatraz, where alligators can eat them alive. Is this humane? Is this the greatest? Is this your leader? Is this the greatest country in the world? The so-called America first and nowhere else? Is this your leader? Y'all made something that you nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz. Alcatraz being the prison where no one was able to, or they believed that no one could escape, even though there were many escapes from Alcatraz. But their whole thing is, if you escape from this alligator Alcatraz, the only people you got to contend with is the alligators. They'll eat you alive. How is this okay? This is a violation of all of the constitutional amendments. First, violation of the Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure. By taking someone's person, that is illegal search and seizure. Sixth Amendment, due process, violation of the Fifth Amendment. They're forcing you to speak, even though you say, I don't speak out. They're forcing you. Violation of free assembly rights, violation of speech, come on. The list goes on. They're eviscerating the Constitution. They have totally changed the friggin' Supreme Court into Trump, whipping boys and girls. This is what's happening. You're watching the America fall. I just hope you guys know that. And I did a video about that. I did a live about that. America is falling. Baby, if it was Squid Games, that would be nice. Because in Squid Games, all they got to do is lick a cookie. You got people who were federal employees for 15 years and had entire stable lives and stable ecosystem around their life with their family. And now they don't have a job and no income. Can't pay for their kids that was in college, their mortgage, losing their houses. It's nasty out here. When you get the mainstream of society losing their houses because they've lost their job and the government is not giving them unemployment, not paying them, come on. I watched a government agent the other day say the average family's checking account processes within $60,000 worth of stuff a year. Once your bank account goes to a certain level, all your stuff will be released to the IRS. What do you think Doge went in to do? All they did was a big data mining. They snatched everybody's data so they can make a one world system in the United States. Well, I say one world, but a one new world order system where all agencies are connected. They have all of your information across agencies without your express written consent, which is a violation of your constitutional right to privacy and all types of stuff. And guess what? Y'all just sitting around talking about the milk and whatever foolishness. Hey, you want to go to a Ja Rule concert and all kind of foolishness? Why are y'all so apathetic? How is the world not seeing this? It doesn't make sense to me. How is the world not conscious of what is happening? Alligator Alcatraz? Would you be okay if your mama was put in there? Why would you guys want to protest outside of a schmorshmortion clinic so that a woman doesn't have the right to choose for an embryo that is not reached the age of or self-sustaining status? Not that a baby can self-sustain, but is not a breathing and alive person. Now, I have my own thoughts about that. However, they even outlawed it in the case of grape and incest. That is sick. Because who do you think are graping and incesting these young women that would fall pregnant? Remember earlier this year, they did something and said, they asked a bunch of men, if your wife, mother, aunt, sister, daughter, any woman you knew was stuck in the woods, would you prefer them to be stuck in the woods with a bear or a man? And overwhelmingly, to a degree of, I believe, 90%, everybody said they'd rather them be trapped in the woods with a bear, because being with a man would be oh so much worse. They would rather a bear with one swipe rip your face and arm off than for you to have to face the dehumanization of being within the proximity of a man that has no accountability to anyone. Men, fix yourselves. Fix yourselves. You wonder why there's all these other designations and statuses of, A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Because of y'all. Because of y'all. Y'all hate the women that are the products of, y'all got my money, pay me my money. You hate them, but you created them. They said There are 3.2 million women on OnlyFans. And men bash women, talk about all this stuff, talk about all these things. Oh, these OnlyFans, this, that, that. Well, did you hear how many men are on OnlyFans? 220 something million. 220 something million, all feeding off of these 3 point something million. Who's the problem here? A chick that has been taught that she is devalued and only has value when a man looks at her body? Or the men who are paying for it and fostering this life? We got a lot of work to do on this world. I want to know, if you don't plan on doing anything to improve the quality of this country, where is it that you're going to run? You better get your documents apostilled, make sure you have your passport, and be able to get the F out of Dodge. Because I'm telling you, America is on fire and it's burning. Get yourself, you better get somewhere. These oligarchs are building underground camps. Y'all better get somewhere. All right, guys, we're officially, the headmaster has spoken. The headmaster has spoken. She said, smash the subscribe button. I don't know why the Hackation is doing. Smash the subscribe button and make sure that your notifications are set to all so you don't miss a live. She said, we see you peeking through the bushes. Don't be scared. Join the convo. The Nerd Herd is a welcoming bunch. And she also said, we are officially past Natanya's target time for this live. So that means I got to get off. However, someone said, I've been following the White House politics closely. I think Trump is making some brave choices for the future. LOL to the alligators. That is a joke, honey. I know, because I know you don't mean that, Frank. I've seen your name here before. I know you don't mean that. Trump is eviscerating what we know as the United States. And I explained it for years. I've been saying this for about 25, maybe 30 years. I said every superpower nation in the history of the world has fallen. America is the infant of countries in the world, and superpower nations. We are the infant, and we like to say America, the World Series, the best this, the best that, the best that, the best that, the greatest country in the world. No, we're not. No, we're not. China owns $300 billion of America's debt. All the foreign countries come here. Yep. Kermit said the baby boomers were tough on their children, but they become softies to their grandchildren. Oh, absolutely right. Stuff that they let the grandkids get away with, baby. We would have got head bust to the white meat. But they get, and I think that is because we evolve as a people. And so you realize the error of your ways, and that how you did things in the past wasn't necessarily so good, and time changes, and so then you look crazy, doing the old time stuff with the new time kids. K-Lig said, I will be creating a Nerd Herd email list. If you want to be included, email me at kliggins15@gmail.com. That's KAYLIGGINS15@gmail.com. Make sure you get on the email list. Yes, we are in collapse for certain. We are absolutely in collapse. Yes, indeed. We're in collapse, Franca Avi. We are. And it's disheartening, because here's the deal. I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but they had some scientists ponder the question of, if things get so, here's why this is so bad, because Trump is extremely dangerous. He's extremely desperate. His base is turning on him, and like any caged rat, some caged rats will burn the whole house down rather than to have to face looking wrong. Trump does not have the capacity to admit that he's wrong. There is no contrition in him. He doesn't have the capacity to show contrition and accept, stand corrected and accept the wrong that he did. And more, he doesn't have the ability. So what he's going to do is burn the house down. He'll rather everything burn down to the ground than to admit that he was wrong. What's happening is all of his mainstream followers, his loyalists, that every time you would ask them, what about, did Trump, they say, what about Biden? What about Obama? those people are like burning MAGA hats. There's a trend. Go look it up. There's a trend. People are burning MAGA hats, MAGA memorabilia, everything. We see he betrayed every single group base and dichotomy of people and situations that supported him. Everybody, for his own good. And when it came down to the ground for them to say, okay, you ain't did this, we gonna let it slide. You ain't did that, we gonna let it slide. You ain't did this, you ain't gonna, we ain't did, but you said you was gonna release them Epstein. And then this ninja said, Epstein was a hoax. It was fake. My God, my God, my God, my God. That dude is backed into a wall and will stop at nothing. And if that means annihilating all of you people, if he can't get through with this firing of Moren Comey and make this become a big powder keg, he will let them turn off the power grid. Okay? I watched an environmental scientist say, if the power grid should go down and electricity be gone, 90% of the population will be gone in 10 days. Gone, as in the upper room, be standing at that gate explaining and negotiating why you can't get in that gate, saying, well, Jesus, I thought, Yahusha, I thought all our sins was forgiven. And he said, depart from me, I do not know you. That's what I mean. They said, I don't mean y'all will be sick. I mean, they said if the power grid goes down, 90% of the population of the world will be annihilated. As in, y'all will be the ancestors in the upper room. 10% of society will exist. And I'm sure that involves a lot of the oligarchs, and then the other people that exist will be the working, you will be the enslaved class. You will be the serfs. You will be the subordinates who do everything in society. I'm telling you, you better act like you know. It is not a matter of just, this is fodder for YouTube content creation. This is not about no clicks and views. It's not clicks and views. This is act like you know. He's desperate. A caged rat is the most dangerous thing in the world. He will burn the entire house down. Just does not say I'm guilty. So prepare yourself, act accordingly. Make sure you guys have ample storage of water in your house, both for consumption and for sustaining of your health. Make sure you have a bug out bag. Make sure you have something that you can light things with. Try to get on. I hate to be sending business to that. I hate to say Amazon, but at this point, get on Amazon. There's actually a site. I forget what it's called. I think it's Black. I think it's called Blap. I'm going to find out for sure. Look up Blap. Are you okay, boo-boo? A lot of nostril snuff. Your nose is stuffy? Grandma's going to come off in a second. All right, I'm about to get off. My granddaughter's giving me the sniffles like, look, woman, you said 10 minutes. You heard that little, she was like, I just love you guys so much. I truly love you. And Archangel said 7 days we will be in chaos, and by day 10, Natanya was right, 90% will be gone. You see how the hack Asian keep making everything? 7 days we will be in chaos, and by day 10, Natanya is right, 90% will be gone. They will have to be relying on it. Guys, when you have a little time, perhaps tonight, we're going to get off because it's late, go look up a movie called Divergent. I want you to see that. This it's a post-apocalyptic type of survivor type. It's going to be the Hunger Games, basically. It's going to be the Hunger Games. So if you've never watched the Hunger Games, now's a great time to watch it. And a lot of y'all that be telling those kids, oh, put that laptop down, put that iPad down. All you want to do is play these old foolish games. You need to pick up a book. You better let them play them games. You see that Bloxburg and what you'll be playing? Roblox. And what's the one Auntie plays all the time? Huh? The game. You know, like Roblox. What is it called? With the cubes and start with an M, I think. Minecraft and Roblox, they learn how to forage, pillage, plunder, look for things. It's a very survivalist type game. Y'all better let them kids play that game so they can save your old behinds, because baby, if you living off of your old skills, you gonna be in trouble. Make sure you got a knapsack that is relatively sturdy, water resistant, that you can adequately roll things down. You can order bug out bag supplies. Make sure you get yourself a butane stove. Listen here, he gonna tear this all down. He gonna tear it all down. They got underground bumpers. Y'all go ahead and bump your head if you don't, if you think. That's right, right sounds, Minecraft. Go ahead and bump your head if you don't believe. These people are gonna go underground and live in their bunkers until, and whoever makes it through, whoever's left. Listen, I got pills up there, radiation. If there's radioactive thing, these are radiation pills, protect you from radiation. Your girl don't play. I just want the same for y'all. Here is the link for the Divergent movie. The headmaster K Leg has put it in the thing, and then she's also cracking the whip. I don't know if y'all can see these lashes. Lashes on my back. Time to go. I'm over my limit. She sets me on a limit, and I'm past my limit. So now I got to get off. But I love you guys. Shout out to everybody. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate you. Shout out to my neurodivergents, my people in the nosebleeds, people in the bushes, people luxuriating from their bed, home, office, the car, people up north, locked up working for the state right now, if you know what I mean. Everybody, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate you. Again, shout out to my friend Ray Dejon. May the ancestors have greeted you at the gate, and God tapped you on your shoulder and said, "Come home, my good and faithful servant, job well done." You will certainly be missed. I love you guys, as always. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Tomorrow, please God, I will see you all. Yeah. Be good and love yourself. Love your family. Love your children. Love your friends. Love your family. Tell your people you love them, because, baby, no man knows the hour or the time. Although God does be stopping by, but not for me to tell me about other people. So, but I love y'all. Do what you got to do, but love on your people, but love on yourself. Check in on yourself. Check your own mental thermometer. See how you doing. Check in with yourself. Have a conversation. Look yourself in the mirror, have a conversation, and look at yourself every day in the mirror and tell yourself you are beautiful, you are worthy, you are amazing, you are worthy of love. Your cup runneth over. God provides your daily bread and so much more. And that you have something to offer. He is not done with you yet. Check in on yourself and love yourself. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Tomorrow, please God, I will see all you again. Kay Lig said, I will be creating a Nerd Herd email list. If you want to be included, email me at kliggins15@gmail.com. By all means, guys, you see the cash apps on the screen, $, the dopest nerd, $, K-Lig, Kayligg. We love you. Sleep well. And God be with you all. You see the hackation ain't even letting me end it? Okay, hackation, there we go. Did it come up? Hackation won't even let me close this out. All right, I think that was it. Was that it? Yeah. What is going on? Here we go.